good, baby girl.
This is your lace, not mine.
No, your lace on your head with them thin $1.99 Kankalon pack. 2 packs with them thin.
I got 3
dry,
and I paid $6.99 a pack.
Giving very much hay, dry, brittle, thin. What my hair talk?
Prolapse.
Somebody tell her this hair talk pretty pink. This ain't color my hair. Pretty pink. Bubble gum, you want to chew. Very
Girl,
much.
you look very much Hubba Bubba vibe.
Yeah, and you want to chew it. You want to chew me.
Ew, you get
I
don't. You want to get chewed on?
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know nothing about it. She want to be arrogant, taste so bad, but she could never. She could never.
Tay holding up really well back here.
Nah, you far from Tay.
Swallow me, drip down, sound me.
Yeah, this is my assistant and my hairstylist and my best friend and my pet orangutan. Said I'm almost done. I can't tell.
You're almost done. Stop playing.
No, I can't tell.
You're almost done.
This what you call almost done?
You're almost done. Stop playing.
Is well done.
What's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the HoodAstroQ, to all of my returning subscribers. Shout out to all my new subbies. We are almost at the 5K mark. I am so proud of my little old self and this channel. I love my Astro fam. Y'all are the best. Okay, and if this is your first time on my page today, you might as well go ahead and become part of the family. Hit that sub button. It's free 99. However, for as little as $5 a month, you could also have access to exclusive content, celebrity birth readings, so on and so forth. If you are interested in that, check out my Patreon. The information is in the description box below. So as you can see, okay, today's video is going to be on Miss Mulatto, and I don't want to be here forever. So this is going to be a very short, very simple video because I do want to address something very specific. Now, as you saw with the video that I included at the beginning, Mulatto has come under fire for the comments that she made towards her quote-unquote friend slash hairstylist, okay? So she recorded herself on live basically calling her friend an orangutan, and the whole, issue is that there is a huge racial colorist undertone to it. And, you know, Miss Mulatto has faced a lot of scrutiny by way of her name alone. Just from a historical context, a lot of people use the term mulatto to describe the byproduct of a black and white parent, right? So a biracial child. And it has so many, loaded connotations to it from a historical standpoint. So I already think people were on the fence with her in regards to her even calling herself mulatto. But to see her downing a visibly dark-skinned black woman and calling her names that, to be quite honest, if a white person were to call a black woman that, people would be screaming racism, right? So associating black women or black people with monkeys, calling her a pet orangutan. Whenever we're talking biracial people, you got to tread very carefully because it's like you're already 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So you need to be very mindful of what comes out of your mouth. That other half is going to get you fucked up. You know what I mean? And shout outs to all biracial people. I don't have an issue with people being biracial, but anybody who has been on my channel knows that I make no qualms about it. I don't think biracial people are black people. You know, you're no more black than you are whatever your other half is, and that's okay. The only issue that I have is when the anti-black rhetoric starts to peek through, and issues like that is kind of weird. Now, we can save that conversation for another day, but I wanted to take a look at Mulatto's natal chart to see what could really be the explanation for that exchange that she had with this said friend and hairstylist, because it was giving me very much mean girl vibes. I'm familiar with the fact that a lot of people have friends that they like to roast with. I ain't never really subscribed to it, just because I am of the school of thought that there's truth behind everything, right? So if you look me in my eye and call me an ugly fat bitch, you can laugh, but deep down inside, there's a reason why you even fixed your mouth to say that, you know? So, and then the fact that the friend wasn't really giving the roast and gags at the same intensity as Mulatto. Now, I do suspect that there could have been an issue in terms of the power dynamic, right? Because if you're working for her, maybe the friend was more concerned with keeping her job. But, you know, I was kind of upset. I was more so upset with the friend, because it's like, girl, you did not give it to her hard enough. She said her pussy was pink because it's like bubblegum and your nigga want to taste. Well, you know what else is pink, bitch? Raw meat. Raw poultry, girl. You got that salmonella. Nobody wants that. Everybody knows niggas like shit well done, bitch. Like, she could have said something like that, right? Like, oh, well, you're a long way from an arrogant Tay, bitch. You're a long way from Nicki Minaj, okay? With that Starship lace front you got going on. You're not Nicki. I'm not Tay, so we're even, right? I'm your pet orangutan. You're my pet llama. We're zoo pals. Like, I just felt like she could have really roasted and gagged her into oblivion and at the same level, because that's the only way those type of friendships really work, because you're not finna make me look stupid on TV. But I digress. We're gonna get into the astrology of it all. Want to hear it? Here it go. So Mulatto was born December 22nd, 1998, and it's no surprise that she is a Capricorn sun. Her sun is actually at the 0 degree of Capricorn, which is the Aries point of Capricorn. Whenever you're talking about a cardinal sign sitting at that 0 degree, the impact is very significant, because it can actually point to where her father is very directly involved in her life. And I tend to find a lot of just Capricorns in general tend to either be parents that are like that themselves, or of course with the son dealing with the father as well, right? It's no wonder that they could have fathers who are very like heavily fixated on their career, but that Aries point, that 0 degree of Capricorn attached to her son, could create a situation to where the father could even view Mulatto as an extension of himself. So these are your quintessential stage parents. And it's so funny because I'm actually doing a series on dark-sided Capricorn moms on my Patreon. Okay, y'all go check that out. But it kind of unpacked a lot of the same energy signatures where you have these parents who are very heavily fixated upon the success of their children, because they feel like their children's success is a direct reflection of them, and reputation and status means everything to Capricorn parents. And although I don't know Mulatto's father nor his astrological information, just from her being a Capricorn sun, we can deduce that as well. And at that 0 degree, you know, it really intensifies a lot of that influence. Now, Capricorns, especially the dark-sided ones, can also be they can have this kind of superiority complex about themselves. And they could secretly get pleasure and get off based on downing other people. So they can be mean girls, which is why I use that word. And it was so interesting when I actually saw her chart, because I'm like, okay, the Capricorn influence definitely makes sense. You know, dark-sided Capricorns can be very elitist, very stuck up, just bitchy, just mean and rude and snobby for no reason. They like the idea that other people are beneath them, and they will not hesitate to leverage their power in any way that they see fit. This is also reinforced with her Venus at the 13th degree of Capricorn, but her Venus is actually forming a square to her Mars at the 13th degree of Libra. Now, the number 13 does break down to the number 4, which can deal with friends. So this aspect, Venus squaring her Libra Mars can deal with her having a difficult time creating and sustaining relationships with women. Okay, or having female friends. This is actually the quintessential frenemy type of aspect, because it can create a person who can compare herself a lot to her friends. These are people where, typically your Venus and Capricorn individual, they can be opportunistic, but so can Capricorn suns. But they don't mind standing alone. So these are people like your quintessential Venus Capricorn individual may not make a big deal about not having friends or being a loner. Well, with that square to her Mars, she has a difficult time doing that. So like this could result in a lot of passive aggressiveness between oneself and other groups of people. Or instead of having the courage to kind of just break away and do your own thing, these are people who have to immerse themselves into the lives of other people, and it can show up in a very catty kind of way. These are people who can go back and forth, with women all the time, having catty exchanges, verbal exchanges with people. You can even look at this as someone who can even be judgmental. And they can turn this towards themselves, of course, but they can also exude and direct this behavior outward, mostly outward, because with Mars and Libra, there is a tendency to point out other people's flaws, right? But be completely oblivious to your own. So I just thought that was very interesting. It's very common to see Venus square Mars in the charts of women who just do not do well with other women. It's a very catty kind of behavior. This energy signature is also reinforced with Mulatto being an Aquarius South Node. And she's also an Aquarius moon. So she has her moon conjunct Neptune and Uranus. All of this energy makes so much sense because it deals with her being someone where, at her worst, she could definitely be fake, okay, disloyal. This could deal with a person who can have a lot of difficulty with friends. So reinforcing this karmic theme with friendships, right? Issues with keeping friends, where there's no boundaries, where she's always boundary crossing with her friends. So, that's specifically that moon conjunct Neptune. Also, as a Leo North Node, I tend to find a lot of these people are liable to receive a lot of hate from other people. And this is also reinforced with her Chiron at the 28th degree of Scorpio squaring her Leo North Node, and even that Aquarius South Node. So you can look at that as a person on one hand who does attract a lot of hate. And I remember Mulatto doing interviews where she was saying like, oh, people hated on me because I was a pretty girl in school and this and that. Well, in all actuality, I mean, this can produce a person who, especially once they become very popular or when they become emboldened and confident about themselves, or when they start getting a lot of attention, they can receive a lot of hate from other people. So that's legit. That checks out. But on the other hand, this can create a person who gets a very big head. Okay, a lot of Leo North Nodes can fall into the trap of being very arrogant, very just self-centered. These can be borderline narcissistic individuals if they really just go overboard on that Leo energy, that Leo North Node energy. And as a result, that could also be another way that they lose friends and create enemies. I mean, that Mars and Libra can deal with enemies. So with this square her Venus, where she can have a lot of female enemies. So Mulatto just has a lot of messy energy around her, especially when it comes to friends and associations and her affiliations with people. Side note, I get that she's been very grown for like the majority of her life. And I say that because even with her being a Capricorn Sun and Venus, these are women, especially like, you see this with girls who either are way mature, mentally mature and ahead of their time. They could like to date older guys, but also I'm kind of concerned with her being an Aquarius South Node, especially with that South Node squaring that Chiron in Scorpio, because that could deal with where she could have attracted some perverted men, where she was like legit a teenager or a child and dating grown ass fucking men, which we all know is not uncommon, and that absolutely has nothing to do with with anything. But yeah, this same aspect, North Node in Leo squaring that Chiron and Scorpio can also make her like a really nasty person as well. So yeah, this concludes my reading. I just wanted to touch on some of the main factors that could have contributed to this exchange. So I want to know what y'all think. Did y'all find anything wrong with what she said? Are you surprised at some of her placements? Do you know anyone like this? Sound off in the comment section, and make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until the next video, I holla.